Hello, I'm Kimberlie, and welcome to the weekend edition of the Native News Update. It's Friday, January 24th. Many of the stories you'll hear here can be found at IndianCountryTV.com. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Senator Jon Tester from Montana is teaming up with South Dakota Senator Tim Johnson, Alaska Senator Mark Begich, and Hawaii Senator Brian Schatz to preserve Native languages and help strengthen Indian culture and education. Tester and his colleagues introduced the Native Language Immersion Student Achievement Act. The bill establishes a grant program to fund Native language education programs throughout Indian country in order to improve high school graduation rates, increase college enrollment, and better prepare students for jobs. All four senators are members of the Senate Indian Affairs Committee. Their bill, which is supported by the National Indian Education Association, would award grants to eligible programs serving students from pre-kindergarten to graduate school that use Native American language as the primary language of instruction. A new chapter in the century-long history of the Pamunkey Tribe has begun. Tribal officials learned January 17th that the Pamunkey will soon join the 566 other tribal nations across the country that are recognized by the federal government. The tribe has been under active consideration by the Bureau of Indian Affairs since August of 2012. The tribe's approval will now go under the 6-month public comment period before the final determination is officially recorded in the Federal Register. The tribe initially began the process to earn federal recognition around 1982. Researchers were able to draft a petition that documented the tribe's history and genealogy dating back to 1787. The Northern Arapaho Tribe is asking the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to reject a request from the state of Wyoming to halt implementation of the agency's recent decision that more than 1 million acres around Riverton remain legally Indian country. The federal agency announced in December that it had concluded a 1905 federal law opening part of the Wind River Reservation to settlement by non-Indians didn't extinguish the land's reservation status. The federal agency's conclusion has prompted sharp criticism from Governor Matt Mead and other state officials. They say it calls into question state jurisdiction over the disputed lands on a range of issues including law enforcement and environmental regulation. The EPA addressed the boundary issues when it granted a request from the Northern Arapaho and Eastern Shoshone tribes to treat their joint reservation as a separate state under the Federal Clean Air Act. The decision would give the tribe standing to be consulted on activities within a 50-mile radius of the reservation boundary on activities that promise to affect air quality. Mead has pledged to challenge the EPA decision in court. The state has until February 18th to file its appeal in the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals in Denver. While the numbers aren't clear, experts estimate there could be 50 to 100 authentic tribes that aren't recognized. The complications are thorny enough that more than 100 participants and representatives from more than 20 tribes still seeking federal recognition gathered January 16th and 17th at Arizona State University to meet with members of nearly 30 recognized tribes and government officials to discuss their ongoing struggles as well as changes to the process. Whatever their reasons, tribes that exist in the United States but are not listed on official rolls maintained by the Bureau of Indian Affairs are alive and active across the country. And despite red tape and obscene amounts of paperwork required by the federal government, proposed changes to the federal regulations could open the door for more tribes to become sovereign entities within U.S. borders. The American Indian Policy Review Commission reported in 1977 that hundreds of tribes in the United States were essentially invisible as entities because of the federal government had no formal process to acknowledge their existence. And many have ceased to officially exist because of the government's policy in the 1950s to legislatively terminate tribes as separate entities. In 1978, the U.S. established 7 criteria for tribes to become recognized, including showing continuous existence since before the birth of the United States, maintenance of tribal leadership over the history of the community, and descent of all tribal members from a historical tribe. The Shinnecock Nation is the most recent tribe to attain federal recognition. That happened in 2010 after it filed an initial application in 1978, spent more than $33 million, and submitted more than 170,000 pages of paperwork to prove its existence. It's helpful to note that since the rules were published in 1978, 30 tribes have been recognized by Congress, as opposed to the 17 recognized by the Bureau of Indian Affairs. In June, the BIA began taking comments on how to make its recognition process less expensive, inflexible, and burdensome, as well as more transparent. This includes expediting review and the ability for tribes previously denied federal acknowledgement to repetition. The BIA says it's committed to moving as quickly as possible to make fixes to the regulations, but at this time has no clear date for when those proposed changes could be published, let alone ready for public comment. Walking past the Henry Madden Library in Fresno, California, students are confronted by an unexpected sight, a 40-foot tall video of a woman in red weaving a basket. The story behind the continuous video weaving is of a woman sharing her dedication, drive, and determination with students. The weaver in the film is Lois Connor, a 30-year veteran of basket weaving. It took more than a year to make. Playing 24 hours a day, it is the longest performance art film ever made. The basket itself takes 11 months of 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, Connor had said. Students and the campus community can see the basket in various states of completion. When the basket is complete, the video simply starts again from the beginning over the span of the academic school year. In the video, Connor, who is a member of North Fork Mono Tribe, is making a Native American gambling basket. This type of basket was traditionally used for dice games. The basket in the video features intricate patterns such as rattlesnakes, diamonds, quails, lightning, ants, water skimmers, flies, and people. The basket has approximately 113 coils, 16 stitches per inch, and changes colors, which is why it takes so long to complete. The video project was funded by the Table Mountain Rancheria. And that's another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me and have a grand day.